Okay, hi everyone. This is Ron McKinney with Parada Photo with our latest and greatest webinar. I'm actually here in my car next to the Midway Airport in Chicago, getting ready to pick up my son and bring him over to my studio and have a visit with him and have him do some video work for us. So that's always exciting. We are this time doing a webinar with Rebooku. We have Fischer here with us, the owner of Rebooku, and Vicky Long, who has been using Rebooku, and she's going to be talking to us about how she's, utilized it in what she does, and Ty will be kind of laying it down for us. Can everyone hear me?
I hear you fine.
Okay. Okay. We have one person who just said that they couldn't hear. But anyway, Ty's going to be talking about, how you can use his service, not just for volume work, but, for portrait work as well. And because the key thing about us is that, our goal as photographers is always to try and get as busy as we possibly can, shoot as much as we can. And then the next thing you know, you've got all these pictures that you have to edit. And really, it's almost like we're so much better off if we can get somebody or, a service to do it for us. And that's what Ty is going to talk to us about. So, Ty, before I go to you, I want Vicky to jump on here. And Vicky, I just want you to introduce yourself, and talk about the photography that you do, not just your dance photography, but, you do a lot of other photography, and, and that's what you use a lot with Rebooku. Not that you don't use dance stuff with them, but I just want you to kind of like introduce yourself and talk about, the things you do.
Yeah. Hi, everybody. Thanks for having me. I actually don't consider myself a dance photographer. I do dance, right? But I do lots of other stuff. I do family portraits. I do senior portraits. COVID kind of thrust my portrait business into the volume photography world. So now we're doing a lot of teams and leagues and even schools. And so I've been doing portraits for probably about 5 years, but quickly it was one of those situations where the more I learned from a technical aspect, from an editing aspect, from a business aspect, the less I knew, right? And the more I needed help. And so in order to grow my business, I quickly had to find partners to help me with that. So I still do a little bit of everything, but our volume business is taking over, I would say. And so it has been very helpful to have the portrait background and have existing relationships with people like Rebooku to help me sort of carry over all the outsourcing we started with portraits into a much larger, truly volume-based business. So that's me. I'm in Woodstock, Illinois. It's me. Higher Focus Photography is an LLC, and it's me and lots of contract help right now. So I outsource everything except for me, really. So, and I'm a former student. Ron is a former mentor of mine early on in the portrait business. I actually spent time learning from Ron and asking Ron about his workflow and shadowing him on shoots. And so it's kind of exciting to be here now with him and talking to you about my business that he's seen, from literally the very beginning.
Yeah, that's exciting to see you in this space. So it's so cool to see that. I want to talk to everyone else before I turn things over to Ty and have him introduce himself. And that is that if you have any questions, I'm going to be monitoring the chat. So so if you have any questions, go ahead and put the questions in the chat, and I will be monitoring them and getting them to Ty and Vicky. So Ty, if you can introduce yourself and talk about the name of your company. We talked about how you can introduce that as well, and just why you got it started, if you can take it from there.
Sure. Thanks, Ron. Hey, everybody. My name's Ty Fischer. I'm the co-owner of Rebooku. We're going to get into that crazy name in a minute. Give you a little backstory on me. I am a professional photographer by trade. I had 2 portrait studios in Southwest Ohio for many years in a volume sports photography business. Rebooku was birthed kind of out of my pain, selfishly in 2012, to help kind of offset all the work I was bringing in. I'm sure, as many of you are experiencing, the work is great, but then as you're building all this work, the time behind the computer becomes immense, and you're tired, and all you're doing is working behind the computer, and you're trying to figure out the work-life balance, the family balance. And I was struggling with that, and I knew something needed to change. So I had an opportunity to work with my partner, Jazz Mandare, who, if you see us at trade shows, you'll get to meet. He's my favorite party trick. He's a great guy. But we came up with Rebooku. And initially, Rebooku was based on retouching and book design. So the name Rebooku is retouch and books for you. And that's how that kind of came together. And so a lot of people look at it as Rebook You. It's just Rebooku. But anyways, we've been around since 2012. We've continued to evolve with the industry. I think one thing we try to do really well is listen to our customers and what their needs are. We're very attentive with customer service. We have 5 people just alone in our customer service department. People have access to me all the time if necessary. We really have, and I think Vicky would attest to, we try to evolve with what's going on in the industry. And I think something we've, Ron and I and Vicky were talking about this last week, something that kind of lost sight when digital photography took over. If any of you are film shooters, you'll remember the days when you would shoot your film, send it to the lab, and have it processed and retouched. And that was a good workflow for professional photographers, because you make your money behind the camera, not behind the computer or the processing lab. When digital came into play, softwares became available. They were birthed out of digital. Photoshop, Camera Raw, Lightroom, Capture One. Those were based on you guys becoming digital editors. But that's not where you make your money. And that's not what you should be doing. Those softwares can help make your business efficient, but it's very difficult to grow your business through software. You have to have sort of what I call a hands-off approach with your editing. And, probably the biggest question I get is, I'm a control freak as a photographer. This is someone talking to me. I can't let go of that process. And I really want you to think about that, because if I were to line up 100 natural light photographer images together, or 100 artificial light photographers images together, you would find it would be very difficult to pick out a specific style, or that's your signature. There are a lot of people that are shooting very similar today. And what is allowing them some to grow and some not to grow is the fact that they have a great workflow, and they're able to market their business and get it in front of more eyes, and able to shoot more because they have put in an infrastructure that allows them to outsource their editing. And that's a little bit about Rebooku right off the start, Ron, if that helps.
Absolutely. I love it. And I just can't, express enough. I already said it earlier that, when you start reaching a certain level, you really have to, because we're all control freaks, and you have to give up some of that to continue to be successful, or, you're just not going to have great life management, I guess. So, so from here, why don't we go ahead and have you and Vicky kind of talk about like how it's worked for Vicky, and Vicky can, show us some before and after pictures, and we'll take it from there.
Yeah. I can't wait to show you some before and after. And I guess, when I sort of stopped to think about like outsourcing and whatnot to me and what it means to my business, I'm a huge audio book listener. And so when I'm traveling to and from shoots, like I'm trying to fill my head with, personal growth, good stuff. And so there was a book that I listened to a couple years ago. I'll probably botch the last name, Brandon Bernatson. It was called Whatever It Takes. And he gives his, tips of the trade and tips of his success. And one of the things he said is, if you can pay someone to do something for you for less than you make in an hour, pay them, because you're still making money, right? And so that little voice like is in the back of my head as our business grows and as new business comes my way. And I'm constantly thinking, like, what am I doing that I could pay somebody else less to help me with? And so that's kind of the philosophy that I take when I think about outsourcing parts of my business. There are a few things about Rebooku that I think really set them apart from some of our other partners, and they're still partners that I use for different things. But right now, for volume business, this is the peak season, right? And so everybody is kind of maxed out. We've all shot way more pictures than can possibly be processed, can possibly be printed. I literally got an email last night. One of our partners is on like a 10-day delay, right? And I have another outsourcing partner that does a different type of work for us. And over the course of the last few weeks, we continue to get emails like, I'm so sorry, like we're delayed, 3 days in production or 4 days. And I will tell you, like, I have never had that from Rebooku. Right? Rebooku has a bar at the top of their site that says, turnaround for extractions is, and teams are. And so it's really important for me to work with a partner that I trust and that I know they're going to turn things around in the time frame that they say they're going to turn things around in, so that I can keep my commitments to my clients. So that's been really important to me in working with Rebooku. I work with them in lots of different ways. Like I said, I started with portrait business, and then we moved into volume photography. I can show you, or I'm excited to show you some of the before and after, including some of the dance work that we've done with them. So let's look at that. I could go on and on. There's lots of things that kind of set
off that, Vicky, real quick with you before you go into it, because you made some great points. Paying someone while you can still make money. Photographers on average behind the computer lose $200 an hour. This is something that's really not looked at a lot by photographers. If you figure out your time as far as your session fees, your print, your product costs, your profits, for every hour you're spending behind the computer, it's averaging out to about $200 an hour you're losing. Our fees haven't changed in 10 years. I get the questions all the time. Well, what's the cost for retouching? What's the cost for extraction? If you're running your business properly, it's free. It shouldn't cost you anything. And the reason I say this is we are a direct wholesaler to professional photographers. Our pricing is a cost of service that you get to submit to your accountant every year in a report that you can run off of our site. And those cost of services are deductions. Those costs of services should already be embedded or will be embedded into your print and product pricing. So it should never cost you a dime. What it will do is save your sanity and save your life. It will actually give you life back. You can then choose how much more work you want to take on, or how much more time you just rather spend personally, or professionally. But the cost should never be a factor. What you need to look into is a good partner. The things that Vicky just brought up, and I'm not just expressing my company, but a company that's easy to communicate with, is there for you, and is communicating back their turnaround times. If there is issues, are they easy to get a hold of? Those are the kind of partners that you need to be working with. Go ahead, Vicky. I wanted to throw that in.
Well, before Vicky jumps in, I just want to kind of add on to that. And that is that, there may be some people on here who who haven't built up a huge business yet. And so when they hear that, okay, they're losing time behind the computer, or, when they're editing or whatever, they're thinking, well, I don't have any other shoots, so I should be, editing my own work. And the answer to that is actually no.
Correct. That is not the answer.
Exactly. You should actually, if you're going to be on the computer and you're not shooting, then you should be trying to market yourself and getting yourself more jobs. Because if you're spending that time editing, the editing is not getting you more work. The editing is sucking time away from you. And
it's not only sucking time, it's sucking brain power, because what I hear so much is, well, then how do I market? Well, you won't know until you give yourself time to figure that out. And if you're behind the computer editing, you don't have time to think of creative ideas. Case in point, we used to do a senior of the quarter program at a large Mexican restaurant here in my town. It grew my business exponentially, but the only reason it happened is because I had time to think about it. I had time to put a marketing program in place and not be behind the computer editing images. So you're not going to know how to market until you allow yourself time to market. Great point, Rob.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Vicky, now.
Yeah, very valid. Yeah, so I'd be happy to share my screen and show you some of our recent work with them. Let's see. There. So this is, I guess it's part of our volume work. I don't know. This is that we approach the dance studios that we work with similar to our volume clients, but I don't necessarily know that it truly fits into the volume category. But this is an example. We shoot on a Elastilite highlight system. And so this is straight out of the camera. This is a picture of one of the dancers from the studio we work with. We send these images to Rebooku to do a couple different things. They extract them and put them on a transparent background for us. They add drop shadows and reflections, so it comes across as just this beautiful, gorgeous image that we then can do lots of different things with, right? That's my favorite. Like, I get really excited when I take one image and I can sell it in 6 different ways, or I can use it in 6 different ways, right? And that's exactly what this approach allows us to do. So we get these PNG files back from Rebooku, and we put them into an online gallery system, into our sales system, and people can purchase this as an individual image. They can choose the background they put it on. We also give a limited number, I don't say give, it's included in the service fees to our studio, but we provide a limited number of these files to them that the studio can then use to market online or market in social media. So I'm selling it, studio's using it. We're both really excited about this gorgeous image. This is another example. It works for guys and girls. This is the same, go figure. This is another different pose, an extraction with the drop shadow and reflection. This is another dancer in that same group as the first one. So this is a compilation. This is their team building service. And so we have taken, all 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 dancers, and Rebooku has extracted them for us. We're already selling them as individual files to the families, and we're now also putting those into a group image on a solid white background, which is my personal favorite, in a nice black frame with a white mat. It's just a gorgeous classic look. This is something that can also be sold to the families, right? Can also be used as the studio in their program guides on their website. In addition to the team build service that Rebooku provides, we get a PNG file of the group as well with a transparent background. And so we can offer custom backgrounds for people that may prefer that, right? Lots of families like a date and some sort of reference to have. And so this is that same image on a custom background from all these individual images that we've taken and Rebooku has extracted for us. It works with props too, right? Look at this cute little luggage cart, and this person, like, I don't know how that cart didn't collapse, but we had to have a person stand there during the shoot to hold that up. And so this is how it extracts from Rebooku. It's a gorgeous transparent image. It's got the drops, shadow, and reflection. She's lovely. The person has disappeared. It's magic, right? This is what their team build service looks like from all those, I don't know, I can't do the math quickly in my head, 9 individual dancers. It is a perfectly lit, expressed, compiled, composited team, right? The lighting on everybody is gorgeous. Everyone's got their eyes open, their smiles are perfect. And so it allows us to really perfect these group images. Let's see, what else? Same thing.
Hang on a minute, Vicky. Let me just go ahead while we have a moment here, and I have a few questions. And naturally, we're going to get some questions about how you're doing some of your shooting, as well as, like, you know, beyond the service of Rebooku. And so Jill is asking that she's having a hard time justifying the cost of the Lassolite, and she's just wondering what your thoughts are on that in terms of, I guess, the value of it to you.
We buy it, use it, right? Like, I don't, you know, I think there's a small one. I think we bought our first one. It's a 5x7 Lassolite. You do need, you know, a minimum of 2 lights, a key light, and then a light in your backdrop. I think it was $500, right? So to me, that cost was quickly recouped in you know, just a few image sales, really.
Vicky, wouldn't you say with the highlight, because I use the highlight too. Wes and I were actually the ones that kind of introduced it into the market. But what I found with it, when you were taking seamless white paper to set up, you got a 45-minute to an hour setup and then a 45-minute to an hour tear down. And I found with the highlight, I could be set up in 10 minutes. I'm ready to go. And I'm out the door. I'm only carrying 2. I can carry everything in 2 hands, the highlight, my lights, and my camera.
Yeah. And I guess we started shooting this way, right? So when we were first approached by a team program, it was actually a high school and their sports team. And this was during COVID. I don't know if it was 2020. And he said, we want you to take our team pictures, but given all the guidelines, they're going to need to be out on the football field, so they don't have to wear a mask, and they have to be 6 feet apart. And we were like, those are going to be the dumbest pictures ever, right? Like, people are going to be like they're just going to be dumb. And so and maybe somebody did them that way, so dumb's probably the not the right word, but they weren't the type of pictures that we wanted to take. And so we quickly got online, and I'm like, how do we do this? There's got to be a way to do it, right? And so I don't know, Google probably led us to this whole Lassolite system. And I'm like, oh, fantastic. It tells us exactly the distance from the backdrop and your light and the height and all of these parameters. It told us exactly how to shoot these perfect individual shots. We could stay 6 feet away. We could outsource to Rebooku to build our teams. And so Ron saw my seamless paper backdrops in my studio a few weeks ago, and I had the rolls on backwards, right? I never used them. We started this way. So I don't know any different, but I do know what it's allowed my business to do. And we started with the 5x7, $500 maybe. You know, now we have 4. We've got 2 6x8s, and actually we have 3 highlight systems. We've got 2 of the larger 6x8s. We still got the smaller one, and then we have a few just pop up gray background kind of just Lassolite backdrops. So.
Okay, and we got another question about the Lassolite, and that's coming from Laura, and that is, and you mentioned the lighting a little while ago, but I just want to clarify it. And that is, she's asking if you light it with 2 lights in the box and then 1 out front.
Nope. We have our key light up top, kind of 45-degree angle from the camera. We have the floor, what's it called? I don't know, the
It's the vinyl
attachment.
train, the last.
Yes, the
vinyl
train, the vinyl train. We have the vinyl train that is also white that we just roll out. And so we know, because we've been doing it so long, exactly where our key light goes, like in relation to the subject and the train. We have one light in the backdrop. I have added a reflector on, the other side, 45-degree camera angle. So we do have a little bounce back light that helps, but I do it all with 2 lights.
Okay, I got a few more questions here and I'm gonna keep going with them. One question is from Nikki and she's asking, when Rebooku builds a team photo, how do they know how tall each dancer is? But I'm gonna say that they don't know. They're actually just doing the extraction and then it comes back to Vicky and then she puts it together. And since she's shooting from the exact same distance, she actually doesn't have to worry about the height, because if she changed how far she was shooting from each person or the angle that she was shooting, then it would be an issue and she would have to figure that out. But because she's shooting from the same, it shouldn't be an issue. Is that correct?
Yeah, my camera doesn't move, right? So we set it, it's the same distance from the subject. It's the same height for every single person that steps in front of our camera on these teams. We have a floor mat, feet circle thingy that shows them exactly where their feet goes. And so we stay consistent. It wouldn't work, if you were up and down, you weren't shooting on a tripod, or athletes, were moving closer and further away, it wouldn't work. You have to be consistent in your distance and camera height to get that right.
Ron, we are building these groups. We're
Yeah,
not only extracting, we are building the groups.
Yeah, I didn't do this. Heck no, I didn't do this.
So,
I have done it. I did it for one, and it took me forever. And
so on our website, under the team creator service, if you scroll all the way down, we have tips and tricks for shooting for composite. And we basically instruct you, make sure your athlete is standing in the exact same spot, make sure your camera tripod height never varies, your focal length cannot vary. You don't even want your aperture to vary. You want everything locked down, because 1 inch forward or backward of an athlete can result in a discrepancy. Now, we do have questions when ordering it, asked if you shot what we consider on the same focal plane. And if you say no, it's a quarter extra per person, and we're going to do our best for scaling. But through our proofing system, which we'll get into later, you have the opportunity to give us the proper heights.
Perfect. Okay, so
yeah, and we have had that, right? When there's little whatever, they move an inch, we didn't catch their feet off the circle. You do have that, and Rebooku makes it really easy for us to comment in the proof, please adjust. We look at face sizes, and if they've got something on their jerseys, the numbers or the words there to kind of tell quickly. Yeah, and Ron, just to clarify, no, I did not build these teams.
Okay.
I sent 9 individual images that looked like this to Rebooku and said, make them look like this, right? And so a lot of times we'll take a cell phone picture of the dance group, like in their ending number or, pose at the end of the routine. And that's our reference file that we can also send to Rebooku, so they know, where to place people. But heck no, I did not. They placed all this for me. I didn't build this team at all.
Okay, we still have some more questions coming in. And the next one is, and Ty, you can probably answer this one. The question is, do you have issues with extractions like cut off fingers or hair, things like that?
Well, I will say this, across the board of all of our extractions, we have a 98% acceptance rate. So less than 2% are being rejected. But we do have humans that are doing the work. We call it real intelligence, where people are working. And so we make mistakes, absolutely. The beauty of that is we're easy to get a hold of, and we'll fix it. And we'll put it as a priority and get it fixed as quickly as possible for you based on the number of images that we made mistakes with.
Yeah, and I will tell you, their customer service response is crazy. I mean, sometimes they respond like before I'm ready for them to respond, right? Like I send a question and I think, okay, well, I'm going to go do something else and I'll wait to hear back from them. And then I have a response and I'm like, oh, geez, like now I got to, whatever. Now it's back in my hands and I got to do it. So that's something that we have also found is very unique to Rebooku. We've worked with a company that was, I don't know where they were. They weren't in the States, but that, there was a time difference there. We never spoke to anybody on the phone. And then we've worked with another company that had, it's a small business just like us. And so it's like a 2-person team, and the one person does everything in customer service, and the other I don't know what the other person does, but there's days lag time in getting a response to service issues, and an hour at the most, or if it's late at night, in the morning. So their response time is incredible. Sometimes it's too fast, just so you know, Ty, like give me a little more time.
And I want to respond to your 98%, because the 2% rejection, if you will, because that sounds like, oh, this didn't work, and it's really not like a rejection. It's actually quite normal for some of us to get like post-production work back and say, oh, no, we need to do this or do that. The amazing part, it's only 2%, but the fact is that it's not that it's rejected. They just say, here, can you fix this? And then you guys turn around.
Sure, it could be something we miss. You're not going to get images back where we cut fingers off or cut feet, but there could be a piece of white in the side of the lens when they turn their hair that we might have missed, or there might be some small issues with the hair. We're really big about hair detail because that's what we believe creates reality. So, we've been in the business almost 11 years, and I'm a detail freak to a degree. And our team is not an outsourced team. Our team is overseas, but they're all employees of Rebooku, and we all work with one mission, one vision. My production manager is a vested owner in the company. We are all trying to be better, more accurate, and faster. That's really what we live by.
Yeah, and just the amount of time that can be saved just dealing with hair and extractions and letting Rebooku handle it instead of doing it ourselves, because oh my gosh, hair is crazy.
It is.
Okay, and let me keep going. Blair was saying, how does the reflection shadow work? Like do you get it with every kind of flooring, or is it just because Vicky used this vinyl flooring or whatever?
No, it's an optional item.
Yeah, the reflection art, they're not in my original photos at all, right? Like that's an option, like you add it on during extractions. You can add different types of shadows, you can add reflection. If we're cropping images like our school pictures, there's no need for any of that. There's also options if you have, we have tennis rackets, or we have volleyballs if the athletes toss in the ball, or lacrosse sticks, the nets and their stick things. And so those are all options when we're putting in our extraction job with Rebooku, that we're letting them know ahead of time. Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing. Okay.
Right?
Let's see. Wendy wants to confirm you work with Canadians.
Yes, we have Canadian clients.
As well as anyone all over the world, right?
Yeah, we've got clients in Australia. We've got clients in Europe, Mexico, all over North America.
And then Brooke in New Zealand is saying that, like with the group photos, they in New Zealand, they like to add the names, and that's something that can be added to this. You guys can put font in there and text in there and put in the names.
Yeah, we can. We have auto script technology where you can fill out a document. We can do like a personalized workflow that's specific for you. And you'll send us your Excel sheet with the names. Now understand, if the names are misspelled on your end, they're going to be misspelled from us. You're going to have to catch that in the proof, because that's all automated. The reason we automate that is because I'm leery of having human hands type out 500 names and getting them proper, where the auto script technology picks up on it and it's verbatim. It's going to write out exactly what you wrote.
Okay, so I have another question from Jill, and she says she's been doing preschools, grade schools, and she provides 4 to 6 proofs per child, and as a result, she gets higher sales. And but her concern is that she feels like it would be cost prohibitive to outsource the editing for 1,800 photos. Ty, I know
Yeah.
you have a response to that.
Yeah.
Well, how long are you spending for 1,800 photos editing?
Exactly.
I mean, you're going to pay us about $12 an hour. That's what about it averages out to.
Yeah.
So if you're spending 3 hours, you've spent $600.
Yeah, and this is the first year that we've done our school photos on the Last-A-Light using extractions. And I think we crop some of those, but we do some full length preschools that we add the reflections. I don't have any of those in my samples now, but I think we pay 30 cents an extraction, right? Like sometimes I submit the job and I'm like waiting to see the number and I'm like, oh, well, we should have done more poses or something, right? So
Right. And we have a variety of extraction services based on your needs. We have extraction services if you're printing 11 by 14 and smaller. Extraction services if you're printing 11 by 14 and larger. Is it on a solid? Is it environmental? Is it Last-A-Light highlight? Is it green screen, blue screen? Those are all different cost factors based on it because there's a different amount of work that needs to be applied to each image.
And just going back to Jill's comment too, and you're saying the $12 an hour, the one thing that's forgotten is that, you know, when we as a photographer do the editing or extraction, this is not our forte. This is not our skill set. We often are wasting time trying to do it right. And so in other words, that $12 an hour, when one thinks about it from our end, we're thinking about it as, oh, this is how much I can get done in an hour. But somebody like, you know, who's doing it with Rebooku is going to do it much faster and much better. So even though it's $12 an hour, it's really like, if you think about probably $4 an hour when you consider it, like if we were going to do it, because you guys can do it 3 times faster for sure, if not even more, and
Sure.
certainly a lot better.
Sure.
Yeah, and the extractions there, it's about 24 hours. And so one of my favorite things in the world right now is like to send extractions sort of before I shut down for the night, right? And a lot of times now I think they have an expedited service that is available for a nominal fee. And so there are times when I'll send an extraction job and maybe I'll empty the dishwasher, or like I have dinner with my family and then I'll go to bed for the night. And when I come into the office in the morning and log on, boom, like they're done. And so it's truly like, it's magic and a lifesaver for me and my family as well.
Exactly. So for up to 400 images, for most orders, they'll be done in 24 hours. We have a rush fee of only 10%. And we'll do up to 200 images in 12 hours.
That's crazy.
And we're going to be releasing a 6 and 12 and 18 in the near future. So we're actually dialing that down even further because we realize, you know, we've been through enough busy seasons with our photography clients like Vicky. We realize what I'm a photographer. I've been through this stress, and we realize that what you're going through and what you need, and we take that to heart.
Okay, one more question, I think, and then we can go back to, like, if you have any other pictures and anything else you want to talk about, Vicky. And that is, Wendy's asking, does Rebooku have like pre-designed team shots to choose from that you can take these cutouts and put them into, or you know, or are the clients and, you know, just doing that themselves? That's for you, Ty.
Yeah. Usually, you know, some of our photographers let us do it. We've done enough of them. We know that with a team of or a group of under about 25, it's going to be a little, and if it's dynamic posing where you've got varied posing, the posing itself kind of tells the story, so our team knows how to do that. And then if you start to get in larger teams or groups, we do more of a riser style, because the posing is probably going to be less dynamic. It's going to be more maybe turn to the right, turn to the left, center, hands behind back, hands on shoulders, etc. Some photographers, they build a workflow with us. They send us kind of a group posing of how they want it done based on the number of people. We have group posing charts that have been given to us by our clients that we follow for each client. So it's really up to you on how you want it to go. The power is information. The less information you give us, the more you're entrusting us. And it may take a revision or two in the proof to get that proper. The more information you give us, the better your chances. It's going to look exactly what you were thinking in your head first time off.
And we have one other comment that is like, time is money. So this makes sense to our business. And wow, my family might have clean laundry now. All right.
Yeah, my family has clean laundry, but none of it's put away. So that's
All right, Vicky, what else do you have that you want?
Yeah, so this young lady, this doesn't just apply to dance, right? We shoot all kinds of sports. So this is an example of an extraction. There's no drop shadow and reflection. A lot of times we'll do a full body extraction and then crop that image for how we might need it, or we'll pay Rebooku, whatever their minimal little crop fee is, to give us a full length version and a crop version of each athlete. So this is a cheerleader. This is a custom background. This is an example of an extraction we did for an image that was going to be used larger than 11 by 14. So this is a senior banner. This is a background that we purchased or owned or specified for this client, with all the details that Ty was talking about, the name, the sports, all of that was done. This one image was used on her senior banner that was purchased by the athletic department. This is the same shoot. This is a football player senior.
Oh, you got some good hair there, Vicky.
Well, you know what? We have a leaf blower, right? Ron, you showed me this trick. This is what I learned from Ron. We have a leaf blower that we take to our banner shoots. And so typically we blow the ladies' hair, but COVID, we're now blowing the guy's hair as well. That was a great mullet. So we took that individual image, and he had that senior banner I just showed you. This is all of the senior football players, right? So the school purchased this banner. The families went crazy over this banner of all the seniors together. So they purchased the banner for senior night, but then we also sold this as prints, right? So that one picture, this one guy and all his teammates, we sold it here. We sold it here as a banner and as prints. Then, it gets even better. This is really exciting. So, right, where's my guy? Here's my guy. So we did all the football players, right? Then we did all the fall seniors, same thing. So all 63 of these seniors, right? We sold a banner. We sold senior group banners and prints. And then we sold the whole season of senior banners and prints, right? In that one image of all those kids. That's my favorite thing to do. My favorite thing to do. Okay. So that's extraction, and that's team build services. This is an image I didn't take, right? Because I wouldn't have taken it for a couple different reasons. But this little girl, she's out there all by herself, right? So I had a client that hired me to do some custom prints for a big, it's a crosstown challenge we have. Our two high schools play each other, and they give the sponsors a gift every year. So this image was given to me to use on that. And I'm like, this has to go to Rebooku, right? Because this girl needs to be over here, and this poor thing has her eyes closed, right? So this is an example of a reference file that I sent to Rebooku. And, this is typed and it has arrows and stuff, but a lot of times I'll just print it out and like scribble stuff on it and even take a picture with my phone and send it to them as a reference file. This is, let's see, so this is how it comes back, right? So there she is. She was in front of this pole, right? So what are you going to do with that? That would have taken me like 6 years to figure out. They rebuilt the pole, right? So you never know. And her eyes are open. I don't know if you can see that, but her eyes are now open. And then they extracted it. What? Yeah. So they ended up extracting it. So this is the custom print that we did with all of the athletes from that image. She's in the right spot. This is an extraction they did for us for one of the high school teams. This is an extraction they did for us for another high school teams. And we did do the layout of this one because we just popped their extractions in pretty easily and then printed it on 40 plaques for their sponsors. This is another example of how we have used their extractions. So this version of this athlete was taken onto Elastilite. It was actually used in his senior banner. But these 3 action shots were taken out on the field in a golf course, right? In sun, in the grass. There's like grass flakes everywhere. And so we sent these just this week. I just did this print this morning. We sent these on the natural background to Rebooku to extract as well. And this is how they come back. And then we pop it into our Player of the Year template. We print it for the school and for the families, and it's magic. I could never, I put this together in literally like 5 minutes because the extractions came to me this morning after sending them last night, right? So that I would have never been able to turn this image around if I had done every single step of that process. Okay, so that's extractions. I love extractions, right? This is an example of one of our school pictures. We did set up a custom workflow with Rebooku for our school pictures. So we have this magic little code that when we submit school pictures, they know that we want a soft touch skin softening. We want the texture of the skin. We want eyeglass glare fixed. We want teeth brightened and eyes brightened. And so this is the before image of that. This is an after. Look at his beautiful eyes and his bright pearly whites. So this is all part of a workflow. So we don't have to tell them every single time, like what to do with our school pictures. We enter the magic code and then it comes back lovely.
So this is part of your personalized workflow, right, Vicky?
It is.
Yes.
Yep. Yep. This is an example of regular, so many times we think of retouching as like, facial kind of things. So this was a environmental shoot. We did it at this athlete at the pool. She needs a little touch up on her face. This is how it came back. Very natural, very lovely. You still see some of the sweat droplets, or it's probably not even sweat. I think she just got out of the pool, water droplets. And she got her pictures and she's like, I look fabulous. I'm like, you do look fabulous, but Rebooku made her look fabulous, right? So from there, the hair's gone, blemishes are gone, and there's her fabulous after. That's all I prepared. Like I have so many more samples, but this in the context of what we were talking about.
Yeah, that was really good. And I'm gonna let Ty talk a little bit about some, the services that you just talked about and anything else that he wants to talk about that his company provides. But a couple more questions have popped up, and I think it's pretty normal here. I mean, if they can replace that that street lamp or something that was back there in that other picture, they can do this. And that is, Jill asked, could Rebooku fix the turn strap on the swimmer's swimsuit?
Oh, probably. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that could be, if that was something you wanted done, that's
exactly.
That's something that can be done.
And then Wendy is asking, and this is for you, Vicky, how are you packaging these options to your athletes' families?
Yeah, so part of my package with my senior clients, this was an environmental, senior athlete that we did stuff off the starting blocks at the pool. I have a session fee, right, that they pay me, and then I have starting packages for prints and digital files, and any image that they purchase from me, I include the professional retouching services, right? So they get things in proof format online to choose, and then any purchased files, I automatically, it's built into my prices, will go through this additional touch-up.
Okay, I'm not sure if I really understand this question, but Brooke is asking, how does Rebooku deal with files once they are finished with them for privacy purposes? Are they outsourced beyond Rebooku? And I'm not sure about the second question, but I guess the first question is, for privacy purposes, does Rebooku keep the files after they're finished editing? I can't
We keep
imagine
them
that
for
they.
30 days, and then we
Okay.
wipe our cloud-based servers. We don't outsource beyond Rebooku. And again, Rebooku is all employee owned. It's not a third-party management company. We've never faced any issues with that. There are companies out there that are a storefront post-production company, but they outsource, and I can't speak for them on how they handle security.
Cool, very good. Okay, so Ty, we just like heard so much from Vicky about all the amazing things that you do with her. Are there any other things that you want to talk about, that Rebooku can offer, to all of us photographers?
Right. I want to touch quickly on a few services, and then I want to show our proofing, if that's okay.
Absolutely.
We have retouching, image extraction, color exposure adjustment, team creator, as you've seen, which can be group creator. It can be for corporate, dance, sports, school. We have book design. We have over 50 templates of book designs that you can choose to have a book designed. We have a book design and print option direct with H&H Color Lab, where you pay for the book through us, look for the design, set the design. Once you approve the design, we send it to H&H and the book shows up at your door. We have sports banner design. We have a sister wedding company for weddings services. We cover a full gamut, and under our services tab at rebooku.com, there are explanations of every service, and there is a video link that you can watch to see how to order for each service, which we try to keep really concise and neat for you as well. And then one thing we do is we provide free proofing with all of our book design, sports banner design, retouching, anything that's subjective. You're retouching, as I said, the sports banner and the team creator. We provide free online proofing to help mitigate any issues. I'm going to see if I can pull that up. I'm not sure if I'm seeing that on here. I thought I had that up.
While you're doing that, what is the name of your sister wedding company? Blair is asking.
Fotofafa, Fotofafa. They were originally based out of Irvine, California in 2006. We acquired them in 2014.
And then Jill is asking, meaning a proof that you can share with your client so they can approve it?
Yeah, so for some reason, to share screen, I've got my proof pulled up, but I'm not seeing it on my board.
Well, try it again now. I just made it change.
See. Oh, it is. Yeah, it is.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Let me come back.
I made a little adjustment there.
Let me get back to you. Why are we so small? Well, we got to hit that. There we go. Okay, let's see. It's right here. Okay, can you see that?
Yes.
Okay, so I've got a couple versions of the proofing in here, and I'm not going to spend a ton of time on this, I just wanted to show you, this is kind of an example of what you get with your images. You've got your thumbnails down here that you can click through and see your images. You have a comments box over here, which I will get to in a few minutes. Now, this is a version 1 proof, and I kind of already went through and made some comments in the version 1. So for like this one, I decided I just wanted the background color changed to complement her dress. And then on this one, take me to it. I wanted to make the reflection more visible. I wanted it to be stronger. And there was another one. Oh, this one. I wanted this background cleaned up, and I wanted this cropped so I wasn't seeing any of this. So when I go to my version 2, so once you get a proof, and I'm going to show you that in a second, and you send us your comments and you make your decision, it takes about 12 to 24 hours to turn that proof around. We'll send you another version. And so what you'll see is if I go to those images, okay, they changed the background, but now I need this to look a little more realistic, like I need a reflection or a drop shadow here. So I can come over to my comment tool, and I have all kinds of options. I have a rectangle, a circle, an arrow, lines. I can freehand. And I'm just going to draw a box. I'm going to type in here, please add drop shadow. Oh. And I'll post that. And I can do that for all of them. Now we'll go to the images that I did request. See, here's the one that I asked for it to be cleaned up and cropped. And then I asked for a stronger reflection, and there that is.
Very nice.
You know, I've got a deeper reflection, and people ask, so with all these changes, sometimes, you know, those are additional costs, and that's true. If you're wanting a background color completely changed, or you're wanting a drop shadow or reflection added. The beauty about that is we can auto bill your card up to $50 if you give us authority when you sign up as an account. And we'll just auto bill that and get it done for you instead of having to go back and forth and saying, well, it's going to cost you this, or you want to do it. We'll just get it done because time is money and we want to get your proof back to you. So once you've made your decisions over here, okay, you're going to come up here and you're going to make a decision. And you're either going to select approved or changes required. And when changes are required is selected, that's going to notify our production team that you need changes. We know now that we're going to make those changes. Now, the beauty about it is when you get your next proof, and let's say you approve it. If you come, you get a post-decision message right here. Now let's download your files. Go to the proof comments section, upper right corner of the page, find the download link and save your files to your computer. So your download is immediate. It's right here. It's a Google Drive. All you got to do is copy that or click on it and start your download of your completed images. There's no waiting for an email to get your images. It's all pretty much instantaneous.
That's
so
amazing.
This is free. This is no additional fee to the retouching services, to the book design, to the sports banner design, to the team creator. It's free.
And that instant download, I haven't seen that anywhere else. And I mean, it's exciting. It's frustrating when you approve a proof and then you wait 24 or 48 hours, you know, to get it back. And so the fact that you can download it instantly is amazing.
And so something I wanted to make sure that everybody that's attending today that maybe is interested in using Rebooku, well, let me get back to this. I want to share something else with you real quick. Let me find it. I think this is very important. This is how you connect with us. We have full email support 24 hours a day through Monday through Saturday. We have phone support. And if you see down in here in the corner, we have live chat. If Mark, it's not an Autobot live chat, it's a true customer service rep. It's Mark. It's from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday. We're going to be adding a 10 a.m. to, or we're going to be adding an 8 p.m. to 6 a.m. Shift as well in the November, December timeframe. So we're, as Vicky has stated, and as I've stated, we're big on communication and customer support. So we have a direct phone line. Option 1 is to talk to our customer support. Option 2 is to talk to me. If you can't get me, leave me a voicemail. I generally get back to you within a couple hours at the latest. So that is all there for our customers. And that's right under the contact at the Rebooku page. By the way, the dog is my puppy, just so you know. This is Mercy. She's part of our new logo. And we live by the tagline, inspiring creativity, because we're taking the mundane workflow out from under you and allows you to be more creative. And that's our goal, is to inspire your creative side.
Yeah.
But for any of those that are looking to try Rebooku, $20 in free services on your first order. You enter this discount code at checkout, up to $20, no cost to you. It gives you a free trial, lets you know what we're about.
That's awesome. We like, for those who put in a bunch of images or whatever, when they're in that Google Drive, they can do a batch download on those, correct?
Yeah, it's a batch, it's a zip folder. So you're downloading one folder, and then you're simply opening that zip folder and extracting the subfolder out of it, which contains all your images.
And if you have like some images that are done, but some others that you're still waiting for, are you able to do an instant download on those that are done?
You know, we get that from time to time where people are waiting, like, hey, if you can get me just a few images to get going, well, all you have to do is contact our support team. They're happy to work with you on that. And if let's say you ordered 100 images and we've got 35 done, we're happy to get those over to you and continue the process on the other 65. Cool. Yeah, it's just communication. And then one other thing, Ron, I'd really like to touch on is the special we're going to be doing for the Pas de Deux conference. Right.
I'm eager for you to share that with everyone.
Sure. So for everyone that's going to be attending the Pas de Deux conference, and excuse me, I've got to read this. I don't have it memorized. We're going to give each attendee $135 in services towards Rebooku.
That's
free,
amazing.
For every attendee. You're going to have this starting, that'll be provided to you on June 2nd if you have registered on or before May 31st. And that code will be valid until August 31st. So you basically have 3 good solid months to use $135 in services free. It's the biggest promotion we've ever done, because you figure, you know, 200-300 attendees. So we're really wanting to invest in showing you that we can be a support line for you in the dance world. We really appreciate what Ron has done for us, and we want to invest into Ron and Beth and everything they've done as well.
That is so amazing. We already have our first comment on here in all caps, wow, with 3 exclamation marks. So I think people are going to be really excited about that.
Well, we all look forward to seeing you in Chicago too.
Okay, and one last question before we call it a day. And Jill is just saying, with the proofing, are you able to put watermarks on there so people don't screenshot them, or how does that work?
We generally don't put watermarks on there. You can share that. Link with your clients, but also know they are low res. They're low res images because of the amount of time it takes to upload and download proofs through our system and the amount of proofs we do. We're using a low res file for proofing, which begs to mind, you have to think about things too. You don't really need to zoom into 400%. You know, we work at 100% zoom.
Mm-hmm.
We don't work at 400% unless we're doing personalized workflow, fine art photography. It's just not necessary. So we use a low res for the proof. Your download link to the high res is there, but you can also send your client, you have the ability in that proof to just download a PDF, and you can send that to the client and they can just look at the PDF scroll. It's just a locked PDF.
Right. Okay. Well, that's awesome. Blair just asked a question about the conference, and I just want to say that, you know, Pada da Photo is who's, you know, hosted this webinar, and Ty Rebooku has been, you know, they were a major sponsor and exhibitor of ours at Austin in our last conference, and they're obviously going to be one, you know, at our next conference in Chicago, July 21 to 23, 2023. And if you go to padadaphoto.com, you know, you can get some information about the conference. This is, you know, recorded. Jill had asked about it earlier. It'll be replayed on our Facebook page as well as on our padadaphoto.com education page. You'll be able to find it there as well. And I think that's it. Vicky, any final words?
No, I don't, other than if, you know, you're a small business like me and you're curious about it, like pick a project, pick a subject and try it. And I think you'll be excited about the possibilities, right, of doing this. And I fully believe like we actually have more control by outsourcing other professionals to do some of this work for us than we have when we keep it all and try to do it ourselves. So give it a try. I think
Awesome.
you'll be excited.
And Ty?
I just want to say thank you, Vicky. I appreciate you. This has been fun.
Yeah.
I appreciate Ron, you having us on. This has been great. If we can be of help of any type, we're here for you. That's what we do. And again, thank you guys for tuning in today. It means a lot.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Okay, well, thank you very much, and look forward to seeing you guys all in Chicago.
All right, take care, everyone.
Great day.
Okay,
Bye.
see ya.